This ain't diners, drive-ins, and dives. Hey, I'm Thomas XSL, and have you ever wondered how those bikes in Second Life lean over and their people take the parking pose? Well, today I'm going to show you how with this orange bike. Stay tuned. And this is the bike that we're going to be using the scripts on. This is a BB's Ghost Flame Chopper. It's a bike made from, I believe it was made in about 2007. Now the original one looks a little different, so I've put my own special forks on there, and I've changed some of the sculpts, like the frame and the handlebars I've changed, and I've changed several of the textures. About half of the textures I've changed. The fenders and tank used to be flamed, and I turned down a shine that was in the seat. I just made it flat to look a little more cloth-like and not so much like plastic. So this is what we're going to script up today. I'm gonna do a simple, quick script setup in it, showing how to script with the edit link prims feature. But moreover, we're going to be focusing on the parking feature of these bikes, and we're going to not just set the parking in this bike, but we're going to fully set the parking. There's two steps to it, and you have to use the pre-release version 7 and also the version 6. In order to completely set the parking feature in this bike. So the important thing about putting this park system in this motorcycle, is that this is at the end after you script your motorcycle and it's fully rideable and you have your poses adjusted and you have the sounds that you want in it set, and after it's all ready to go and ready to ride, putting in this park system is after all that. So I just wanted to point that out. So this bike is already scripted all to ride. I added a kickstand as well. It's not a necessity, but it just adds to the realism. So this is the KCP ACS, otherwise known as KCP Skripts. This is version 6.0 with the added pre-release version 7. And it's a vehicle operating system. There's scripts for bikes, cars, boats, and I believe airplanes in this. It's not just a few scripts. It's probably about a couple hundred scripts, as well as other things like poses in this. It's not cheap, as you see. It's right here. The price is 3,999 lindens, and it's an amazing product. I mean, if you really want to seriously script your vehicles, this is the one to get. So I had to steal a lot of hubcaps and car radios in Second Life in order to be able to pay for this thing, but worth every linden. So you can find this in world at a little store, or you can go into the marketplace and find it there. Probably find it a little easier on marketplace and have it delivered to you. But whether in world or marketplace, it still costs the same. Okay guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the bike and select edit, and as you can see, there's our scripts and the poses and everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our ACS version 6.05 package, and you're going to go down to the version 7.02 pre-release box, and you're going to go down to the mechanic tool, and we're just going to left click and drag and drop that into the bike. There it is. And then what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down here to where it says mechanic HUD prim. There's one that's a mesh and one prim. You're just going to click the prim one. I've even used the prim one to edit on the mesh bikes. So add horn, and there it is in the corner, and then you click this off, click off your inventory, click out of edit, and then it says touch vehicle to connect, and you may hear a sound. It might be a little on the loud side, but we just left click on the bike, and there we go, there's a sound. I apologize if that's a little too loud, but that's how you get it, that's how you connect it up. And now we're ready to go ahead and get this thing parked. So the first thing we're going to do is 0 root rotation of the vehicle. For best results, you want your front end to be with a comfortable amount of prims to move around. You don't want your front end being made up of too many parts, because you're going to have to end up grabbing them all to turn them for this parking feature. So this one here I have, let's see, 1 prim, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 6 prims, so that's not that bad. Now my forks are all one piece, so that helps if you have like big one piece items like that. So for this, you're going to go to the turn system. You're going to highlight that. And when that comes up, you're going to hit inject turn system. And it's going to hum. Let me pull up my map out of the way. Turn system injected in root. Now what we're going to do is touch select turn prims. So you hit that. Touch select is on like the lights, but this time around we're going to touch the prims we're going to move for this bike to be able to park. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click and highlight the kickstand. The front rim, the front wheel, the front fender, the fork assembly, the headlights, and the handlebars. And you see them all, they're all blinking, so we can kind of come around and get a good eyeball of what's being highlighted. Make sure we don't have anything not supposed to be highlighted. Okay, now with that done, very important, the next step is record turn prims straight. Alright, so we have 7 prims, 6 on the front end plus the kickstand. Okay, now we've recorded them going straight. Right click, go to edit, and now we're going to actually start leaning stuff. Go to rotate. So this is why we did the 0 rotation. Whoops, and I did not mean to do that. Control Z, remember Control Z will reset you back. Might not need to go over that far. Yeah, sometimes your bike will kind of blink out like that. It's no worries. And now we're going to go into edit link parts. And you know what, I'm going to real quickly, I'm going to shove this, whoops, I'm going to shove this thing to the wall. You know what, I'm just going to take it up. Take it up and out to the side. There we go. Get that thing out of here. Okay, now we can see better. Always want to make sure to have a nice clear spot where you can see what the heck you're doing. I'm going to cam down, get that kickstand. Let's see, is that a good, that's a good lean? Oh, we can lean more than that. Rotate. Click off of edit link parts so we get in the whole thing and lean it like, that's good. Edit link parts, Alt, right click, cam in, grab your part, spin it out, hit position, position it how you want. Straighten up on the green axis. Blue axis. Yeah, sometimes, like I said, you know, sometimes parts kind of disappear, but don't freak out. Just hold on to them like you are and they'll show back up. It's just because you're selecting it. There we go. Kickstand's out. Now for the front end, which is going to get rather tricky, but it doesn't have to be tricky. Left click that first part, hold down shift while you're in edit linked parts, and just start left clicking on all the other parts that you want to have moved. The axle for these forks it's all together with the forks. Okay, now we have all the 6 pieces. Here it says primitives 6, so we're going to go ahead and go to rotate, and the first move that I'm going to make with this, and by the way, I know that it might be a little intimidating. Yeah, front end front end like disappeared. Hopefully this doesn't like deter anybody from doing this with their bike builds, because this is a lot of fun. This is awesome. This is pretty awesome to be able to do this. But I know sometimes it might look a little intimidating, or it acts a little freakish sometimes, but it's no sweat. And it is, or it can be a little crazy to move around a bike front end. I mean, it's not a clear cut, just right or left turn. You're actually messing with 3 different axes of turning. But I mean, look at this. This is like, what, 2 minutes worth of turning. Everything looks good. If you miss any pieces, just grab them, move them into place. And I'm going to click off of edit, and now I'm going to hit record turn prims park. You can go the extra distance if you want, and you can record them doing a left turn or right turn. And now you can go to let's see, test turn prim straight. Click that, and it should pick up. Yep, picks up, and everything is ready to ride. And then test turn prims park, and it parks. Okay. Go to main menu. Now when you get on it, kickstand goes up, the bike's ready to go, ready to ride. Get off the bike, and it leans. See, easy to do, and you're getting professional results. And the reason why my rear tire is going through the ground is just because this bar's got a sculpted floor to it. So let's go ahead and take this out onto the actual ground here. We're gonna hop on it again. See the front wheel goes straight. Everything's looking good. You see the back tire is not sinking into the ground. It's not the bike, it's that garage floor. It's got like a soggy spot or something in it. Let's get a good camera angle so this can look all dramatic. Stand up off the bike, and it leans over. How awesome is that? Okay. Now this next step is to, I don't know how to word it. I just call it like fully setting the park system on the bike, because check this out. You're riding it, you left click, you go to turn off the engine. Now you're taking the parking pose, but the bike's not leaning over. And I guess it's because it has to be like fully set, but I mean it's nothing wrong that we've done. It just has to be set further so the bike will lean over. Now I wanted to make this video for a little while, ever since I found out how to do this fully setting the parking thing, because I was scratching my head. I had bikes that would fully lean over with the park pose, and I was wondering why mine wasn't doing it. And then I dug around, found the answer, and now I'm making this video. It's kind of like an all-in-one, how to script a bike and then how to fully set the park stuff. So turn on the engine, and it comes back on, but as you see, none of the turn prims have like park to return back. So it up. We're going to disconnect this HUD. And now we're going to go ahead and take the bike back into our inventory. And rather than back out, the reason why we're taking it, we're saving our work. Now what we're going to do is, okay, well first off what we're going to do, touch the bike, 0 root rotation, alright, disconnect. We're going to remove that. We're going to go into here, and we're going to remove the mechanic tool. Delete the mechanic tool. Click. And we're just going to set the engine down and turn it off so it'll lean. There we go. Now in our inventory we're going to go and we're going to seek out the previous version of the ACS Skripts, which is the version 6. This is interesting. The pre-release version 7 does not have this fully park set that we're gonna put on this bike. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this thing closer to the ground. There we go. And let me see. We need this package here. And we need, okay, mechanic tool here is no modify. That's what we need first off. Though the mechanic tool from the version 6. So we're going to do the HUD and prim, or the tool and HUD, I think. That's what they call it. And now we need the mechanic HUD. Version 6.05 mechanic HUD. Click it to where. And at first glance, this thing looks pretty intimidating because it's like all these dang all these buttons and stuff. Whereas you saw the version 7 was very clean, but it's no worry. Okay, we're gonna click the bike to connect it to this HUD. So left click, and it connects just like the other one. Now what we're gonna do is down here. Well, I got lettering down here right now. But you see there's 2 arrows, back and forth, or not back and forth, left and right. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is just hit the button right once. And now we have prim control, and my head is doing some weird stuff. Do you see that? Okay, now what we'll go, before I mess stuff up here. What we're going to need to do is, what was it? Prim control. Okay, in your prim control scripts, before we go any further, we need the prim control setup tool. Then you're going to need prim control main, and then prim control turning. Okay, we're going to let that record. Okay, now we're going to drop in the prim control turning. Click that off. Click that off. I almost forgot about that. Okay, now what we're going to do is click the bike, and you must have it with the engine running for this to work properly. So you get the engine running, and then you're going to hit record drive, and you're going to just let this thing count up your prims, and you're going to let it go away, and now you're going to click the engine off. Now you're going to hit record park, and let it count up the prims, and it resets the bike back up, and there you go. That's it. That was the final version of the setting the park on the bike. So I'm gonna right click, detach, right click on the bike, go to edit, and let's see. Prim Control Setup Tool Plus says no modify, no transfer. So that script's got to come out. That's the Prim Control Setup Tool. Just right click, hit delete, wait for everything to reset. Now I don't know if people leave the mechanic tools in the bike or they take them out. There's really no need, because your customers are not going to have the HUD to mess with the bike. So I'm just going to right click and hit delete on that. And all the other scripts, leave them in. Now when we get on the bike, it starts up just the same as it did before. No surprises there. But now look, when we click and select to turn off the motor, now the bike leans, as well as we get our park pose. So I hope this video wasn't too long for you, but that is the way to properly and fully set that park system, so that when you do turn off the motor, your bike parks and you don't have to just stand up off of it. So this way, if you're getting bored riding around, you can just park like this and then click the button, back on riding again. Engine off, kicking, dropping stuff. So let's go ahead and pull Queen Meow in here, and we'll check all this out with a passenger on the back. Okay, so the passenger, just put your cursor over, Queen Meow is here, by the way. Put your cursor over, or their cursor over the area where you put the passenger prim, and left click, and they'll take the sit. Oh, they can drop the AO. And looks like we lined up pretty damn close. That's right about where she would be. So we did a good job on that guesstimate. And you can always go back and forth. Your passenger won't be able to actually adjust the pose. You'll have to sit on the passenger. You have to swap back and forth to get just the right position right for their pose. But there we go. So back in my viewer, right click the bike, kill the engine, and now we're both taking the park pose. Which I think her pose is going to have to be straightened up, because she's kind of like falling to the side. So see, now you can, all three of you are taking the parking position, you as the rider, her as the passenger, and the bike as the bike. So all three in the awesome park position that we've set. So that's how you do it. And I mean, no one has to stand up off the bike. Y'all are still on it. The bike won't be taken away from you like parcel return. If you had scripts like in individual prims and you were clicking on those for any kind of park position, of course you'd have to stand up off the bike and risk it being returned to you. But this way you don't have to worry about that. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a very quick run through of how to script a bike with the ACS KCP scripts. Moreover, it was how to focus on the parking system, and how to properly fully set up that parking system, so that when you click the engine off, the bike will lean, as well as when you stand up, the bike will lean over and park itself. So that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like, rate, comment, subscribe, and hang on tight for the next episode. And as always, take care. What, no valet parking? Oh, never mind. You still here, man? Go home.